Hi friends, it's Saturday, September 6, 2014. Lynn and Jamie here, continuing our assignment in the D.C. area. Today and tomorrow we have a 2-day Search for Truth class from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. In every moment, attempting to discern what's true, us and the class participants attempting to discern what's true, both the things that we ourselves say and the things that other people are saying, evaluating everything for truth, with our channels up to the guides, strong upward flow, strong vertical focus. This is the only way to consistently know what's true. Life presents us with a continual stream of experiences. Some of them are true. Many of them are not what they appear to be. Many of them are not what they profess to be. So how do we detangle the confusion of what is true from what isn't true? It's an art. It's a skill. So we're practicing this from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. 2 days in a row. The topic of our conversation is the Level 4 class of the Lightworkers Healing Method core curriculum. Light being connections. What does it take to become a vessel for higher dimension beings? We'll be examining that, us and the class participants. We'll begin at 10 a.m. and we invite you to join us. We're the low on the totem pole member of the team, right?
True.
Yes.
If there's garbage to take out, guess whose job it is?
Our job.
It's our job.
Our job.
If there's grunt work to be done, guess whose work it is?
Our work.
It's our work. These are higher dimension beings. Respect is appropriate, right? We're the grunts. We are. Right?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And then of AMCAT, the T is trust. That whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. Now, it might not happen right then because that person might be in hard, angry resistance, right?
That's true.
But in the long run, is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
In the end, does everyone wear white hats?
Yes.
Yes.
In the end, yeah. So is it just a question of how long we struggle and fight before we just give in and live our soul plan?
Yes.
How is this different from other healing modalities? The focus on the soul plan engages higher dimension beings. Higher dimension beings don't care about manipulating energy. They don't show up if we're trying to impose our will. Evaluate for truth.
That's true.
That's true.
Miracles happen when higher dimension beings engage. Is that true?
That's true.
How is this different from other spiritual paths? This is a path of sudden awakening. Not gradual and easy. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, that is true.
Yes.
Paths of sudden awakening are highly prized in spiritual circles. Is this true?
Yes.
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 Is it likely that a path of sudden awakening is going to be difficult?
Yes. Yes, it's true.
Yes. True. Likely.
Likely. Odds are good. We can take it as our working theory. It's going to be quite challenging, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
But is all the support in the world given for this?
More.
More. There's no excuse for not doing what we've been born to do. This is our destiny.
That's true.
Our shenanigans make us look ridiculous, but they're not fooling the higher dimension beings. So higher dimension beings wish to work through people who won't misuse the energy, the access, right?
That's true.
To work effectively with higher dimension beings, we have to meet their standards, not ours. Is that true? What do they look for in a vessel, a proper vessel?
They look for willingness, courage, integrity, humility, trust, selflessness, and then stability.
Stability in those, holding on
Right.
to those, consistently making the choices, or not consistently enough, choosing enough right choices, choosing the right choices enough. Now, we talk about these, we're going to talk about this more in detail, point by point, but first, to define what a characteristic is helpful. Evaluate this for truth. A characteristic is simply a choice that we've made enough times that it is becoming a habit.
That is true.
True.
All of these things are simply choices.
Yes.
So they're pointing to a client, and in the second session they showed her making a deal with some dark being. A deal in a prior life where she was a man in that prior life and he felt like he was in a super tough spot, and he, short version, sold his soul to the devil, quote unquote, but just
Yes.
a dark being, made a deal with a dark being.
Yeah.
Right.
And that dark being had shown up to collect. So we go to the guides and say, what do we do with this, basically? The guides say, well, you got a bit of an issue here.
You're in a pickle.
You're in a pickle. That is what they said. You're in a pickle.
You're in a pickle.
You're in a pickle because you have two opposing contracts and you signed them both. You signed this ironclad contract, clang, 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 to trigger the awakening.
Right.
And you signed this other contract with this astral faker, and look how it doesn't clang. It's
No,
like
it's just floppy.
floppy. To like scuttle the wrong word, sabotage the awakening. Sabotage it.
Oh, yeah.
One of them's ironclad, one of them's not. So they said, you're in a pickle. You have three options. First you can, and she was not sabotaging the awakening. She was just frozen. She had just stopped.
Yeah.
So by choosing to live with the floppy contract, not the ironclad one, are they making it worse for themselves, 1,000 times worse?
More.
1,000,000 times worse, maybe. Some big number worse.
Definitely.
A lot worse. But it's a choice. It's a bad choice, but that's a choice. That's one choice, right? The second choice, and this was the one that client was taking, was to just do nothing,
Yeah.
freeze. She just froze.
Yeah.
And suffering was happening, but at a slow pace,
Right.
Yeah, kind of like slow motion almost or something.
Great. Gradually adding to the drip of suffering.
Right. And so at first the suffering was coming from the black guy. I don't have the right words. But like his suffering, the suffering he was imposing, because he was saying, hey, I own you. Now I want my pound of flesh,
Right.
And she's frozen. And so at first he's extracting the pound of flesh, right?
Right.
At first that's creating more suffering, right?
Right.
But then that suffering is starting to go down as the pound of flesh is being extracted, right?
That's true.
Has to be shown. And then eventually it passes, then it like had already passed the break-even point where now there's more suffering caused by not living her soul plan, right?
Right. One suffering just took over for the other. It
Yeah.
was bigger.
One suffering became larger.
Wow.
right? You see that,
It's like
right?
on a scale, I see that.
Yeah. So that was the middle, the first choice, which at least she wasn't doing. She wasn't making it worse by living by the bad contract, right?
Right.
She was frozen in the middle, and she was just suffering. Suffering at first caused by the bad contract, but eventually being replaced by not living for the good contract, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then her guide said, or there's the third. Over here we have the option, third option, and they kind of unveil it, and it's golden and glowing. It's like, you could actually live your fucking soul plan, right?
Right.
And engage some grace, right? Serve the greater good. Do something selfless and courageous. Take courageous, selfless actions on behalf of the greater good and accrue some grace.
That's
Accrue some grace.
Yes.
So those are the three choices. Now, who among us hasn't made bad, like we can take as our working theory, we've all made bad contracts with dark beings sometime over our stream of incarnations,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Probably many
yeah.
times, right?
Yeah, lots of them. Yeah.
So it's just like we can take that as our working theory, right?
Right.
We've all got those. Let's find these contracts that are lose, lose, lose. Contracts that we've signed in this life or other lives where no one wins, where everyone loses, and pass them up. For us and all beings, merging with the group of everybody who's done this, and friends, we've all done this. We've all done this. Me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. Passing them up over and over again. Finer and finer levels, gathering up their errors. You see, they look like error balls that we're collecting, but these are errors. These were just goofs. Dude, guides care when we goof. They don't care, right? We just clean up our messes, right? We just clean it up. We just clean it up, passing up the errors, passing up the errors. So sometimes, like today, we're going through the doorway of all the people who at some point in time signed a contract with a dark being that basically said, slow down progress for Source, right? Slow down the awakening. Might be worded differently, but that's the bottom line, right?
Right.
Right.
And we've all done it, so let's not pretend we haven't, right? Let's not get all there showing people wearing white clothes. Let's not be fakey pure. Let's acknowledge, hey, we've all done this. It's just like throwing spears and all the things we've all done. We've all raped people. We've all murdered people. We've all done horrible things in other lifetimes, and we've all of us made deals, quote, deals with the devil, unquote.
Yeah.
We all have. And so let's not pretend we haven't. Instead, let's do something to help all of us who have. Do something to help all of us who have. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that.